The B side becomes the A side. That is right. This next fighter is ready to step up and be the man.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion.
Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because we're killing it.
Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tinley, and today's guest is Luke the Diamond Daly out of Infinite MMA in Ballarat. Of course, the emerging super team that is home to the mastermind psychopath John Campbell. Of course, the emerging fighters Michael Allsop, Bailey Andrews, saw them on the weekend, and of course, the biggest, most hyped prospect we have ever seen in Australian MMA, the one and only, the human highlight reel, Harry Webb. Now, Luke Daly is taking a huge step up in competition. He's in the lightweight division, and he'll be taking on David Martinez September 14th, Eternal MMA 88, Southport Sharks in Gold Coast. Now, David Martinez, if you don't know, is one of the most dominant grapplers we've seen in Australian MMA. He's a two-time Eternal MMA lightweight champion. And Luke Daly at just 3-1, he's ready to take on the man that is 12-6 and the former two-time champion. Now, the funny sort of twist of all of this is David Martinez was actually originally scheduled to take on Harry Webb for the Eternal MMA Lightweight Championship, a title that Harry Webb ended up walking away with. David Martinez, unfortunately, had a pre-weigh-in incident where he slipped in the bathroom and split his head open and had to be withdrawn from the fight, making room for Kevin Kophamel to step in, hence the fight of the year, fight of the decade, fight of the century that we saw between Harry Webb and Kevin Kophamel. Now, David Martinez, I even said, and I thought was done at lightweight. But no, he's back and he's taking on the teammate of Harry Webb, Luke Daly. Now, I have previously called Luke Daly before the B-side and the Scottie Pippen of Australian MMA, at least the Scottie Pippen to Harry Webb's Michael Jordan. And it's because he's kind of been not had the spotlight, not had the sort of hype, the push, but he's a very, very good fighter. His career has spanned as far back as 2016, and he's often stepping up and fighting anyone. Like we said, the David Martinez fight is a huge step up. He doesn't care. He was originally scheduled to fight Don Marfan, who competed for the Eternal Lightweight Championship. That's where the sort of joke of the B-side stuff came from, is that he's always kind of getting this tough opportunity, but he steps up and he's ready to become the A side. Can he become the A side? Can he become Luke the Diamond Daly that Infinite MMA believes he can? Of course, you might recognize Infinite MMA from the unfortunate arson attack that happened. They've been just really in the news a lot, especially this calendar year. And Luke Daly has an opportunity to have a real coming out party, really sort of lead the way for Infinite MMA, especially with Harry Webb kind of going to have to be on the shelf for a little while, nursing some injuries from that amazing fight. So Luke Daly really has a chance to sort of put the lightweight division on his back, Infinite MMA on his back, and really show what he's got and why he is the diamond in the rough of Ballarat. He's also had some amazing post-fight interviews. One of his most famous quotes is, if you're not with us, you're against us. And if you're against us, fuck you. It's he says a bit of controversy post-fight, but even he goes on to say, and you'll see in this interview as well, he's a lot more than that. He's a real deep thinker. He's a really genuine bloke as well. So this is definitely an interview that I would suggest you stick around for. So we're going to hear from our friends at PRP Global, and then on the other side, Luke the Diamond Daly.
Fuel the fight with Australian-made MMA-inspired streetwear and support the next generation of MMA superstars. Delivering unprecedented support to the Aussie MMA scene, support PRP Global on their journey. 100% of profits go to the fighters. Check PRP Global out today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. For the first time, Luke Daly. Mate, welcome.
You said it right, mate.
How frustrated did you get when old Mr. Callum Potter was hyping you up, but calling you daily?
Oh man, these days I'm used to it. Like, I think even in the fight that I had in Sydney, it was like just on repeat. Like I didn't click like when I watched it back the first time, how many times they said my name wrong. And then when I watched it back, it fucking annoyed me so bad. And then I had to make that little highlight reel of it. But I've copped it all my life. Like even in primary school and stuff, I'd get awards or anything, and they'd call me daily. So I got used to it. But then I think it kind of just tipped me over the edge when I was watching it back, and literally every 5 seconds, like daily doing this, daily doing that. Yeah.
But I feel like it's one of those things where it's like when you first start, everyone's like, "Oh, how do I pronounce your name?" And now you think about it, we're like Khabib Nurmagomedov. Like we don't even think about it. We're like where when he first started, everyone would have been like, "No idea." So it's like it's kind of like that's when you know you've really made it. When
and I think too, because I wasn't really correcting anyone. Like what I said, I was so used to it, I just wasn't correcting anyone. So everyone was just like assuming that was the way to say it. But yeah, it's Delhi.
Well, speaking of names, where did the diamond come from?
My coach actually just thought of it. I think he's the reasoning for it was I grew up in a bit of a rough area, so like where I live, and so I think his thing was a diamond in the rough. So he kind of threw it out there as a joke, I think, and it just stuck. So.
Did you grow up in Ballarat?
Yeah.
Is there shitty areas of Ballarat, or is it just?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely not as bad now. Like I say that, but back in the day, it was a lot worse than what it is now. Like, yeah, it's not even that bad now.
Without like kind of going too deep into it, I mean, not just you guys with the gym and all that sort of stuff, but Ballarat in general, man, it seems like it's been going through a lot of shit the last 6 months, the last year. What's happening?
I don't know, man. I guess every area kind of has their periods, but yeah, definitely, like especially in crime and stuff. I think it's a lot of the youth actually that are doing a lot of the crime, but it seems to be a lot of it lately.
It's really it's quite bizarre because I spent some time in Mount Gambier, which is not too far from Ballarat, and I used to have to drive through it and check it out, and even grew up in Darwin as well. And it sucks because like the place you go up, it's like you love it, but then when it starts kind of catching on, I never knew Ballarat as a crime place. I knew it was almost like, that sounds weird, but like it's like a holiday place. Like I liked Ballarat.
Yeah, well, yeah, when you hear about Ballarat, it's like real touristy and stuff because of like the old buildings and things like that. But yeah, especially recently, I think the crime's kind of like skyrocketed a bit.
Was it like tough place for you to grow up? And did you was it one of those places where you're like, oh, we got to get out and go to Melbourne? Was that what it was like growing up?
Oh no, I never really thought that when I was younger. Like obviously, I was a bit of an introverted kid, or a lot of an introverted kid. Like I didn't really have many friends or anything. So I fortunately didn't get caught up in the wrong crowd. Like I had family members and stuff that did. And I was definitely around a lot of that, the bad side of it. But I personally didn't get involved in it, obviously, which was fortunate. So yeah, like personally, it wasn't like I was around a lot of it, but I didn't, like I said, get involved in it. So it didn't hit me like personally quite as hard.
So did you get like picked on a lot? How did you fall into fighting?
I kind of fell into fighting by accident, but like I got bullied a lot as a kid. But I was always interested in MMA. It probably like stemmed from being bullied in school. But like I never had any intentions of fighting or anything. I originally wanted to join the army since I was a kid, and then I was just looking at like kickboxing and boxing gyms and stuff around Ballarat because I didn't think MMA was a thing in Ballarat. And yeah, just to get a bit of fitness, because I went through the testing and stuff, the prerequisites to get into the army, and they basically told me to go get some life experience and stuff before I come back. And so I was like, I'll get my fitness up, and stumbled across Infinite, and I even like for the first few months or 6 months, like I never had any intentions of competing. And then John asked me, he was like, "Oh, you thought about competing?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't think I'm like capable of that." And then he basically said that he saw potential. And I was like, "Oh, I'll give it a go." Like just some jits comps and a few like novice kickboxing. And yeah, as soon as I started competing, I loved it. And I remember his words exactly. She's my wife now, but she was my girlfriend at the time. She came in, and John said to her, he's like, "Tell him to piss the army off and he can fight and drive around in Hummers."
That's very classic, John.
Yeah.
Now your career stems back to, I think your first amateur fight was at 2017.
think it was 2016. There's one missing off of my Tapology record. It was on like a Arnold Classic, like a once-off thing they did on the Arnold Classic, and his name was like George something. He was a very Greek name that I can't pronounce, but yeah, he competed at Worlds at welterweight or something, and then I fought him at lightweight, and it was a really good performance actually. It's like one of the performances I'm most proud of, but yeah, it's missing off my record, but I think that was 2016 when I had my debut.
Why has because you've obviously got the skills, why has it kind of taken you so long to sort of jump into the sort of pro ranks?
Well, I went 4-0 as an amateur and won the half the hex belt, and then I lost to Corey Reeves for the belt. It was a 5-round fight, and then I lost another one in an early submission when I went to featherweight for the first time. So that kind of put a hold on it for a bit, and then I came back and won 2 more on demolition and won the belt. So then that was kind of the turning point to be like, oh well, maybe we should go pro now. Yeah.
And I mean, you got like a young family as well. Is it hard balancing, the job, supporting them, and then also your dream?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've said it in interviews before, it's obviously super helpful when you have a very supportive partner. Like she's obviously had to take on pretty much the sole parent role, because a lot of, like, most days I'm gone like 14 hours a day, or obviously go to work and then finish work and go straight to strength conditioning and then straight to the gym to do my MMA training. So I'm obviously very thankful for her, but it's definitely hard. I guess I just try and prioritize my time with my family when I can. And I've made it work for me, but it definitely has its days.
Where do you think the chip on your shoulder almost came from? You've got this real, like, if you're not with us, you're against us, so fuck you, which is one of my favorite quotes. But like, where did that come from?
I think I've always kind of been like that. I've always been huge on loyalty. I think that's instilled into me from my dad. I'm very big on loyalty and not biting the hand that feeds you. And I'm very like black and white. It's like you said, it's like either you're with us or you're against us. And I think at the start I was very like kind of reserved and I was worried about what people would think with me speaking my mind. And obviously I didn't want to be talking shit all the time and then losing and look like an idiot. But especially after everything happened with the gym, it was just like that just like made it tenfold. It was just like, all right, we don't have time now to weed through who's with us and who's against us. It's either you are or you're not.
Yeah, I really rate it. There's something about you boys, especially with John as well. And I know that John doesn't exactly have, everyone's not his friend. Like, but that's what I love about it, is that he does it his own way. And you three, and I know there's other guys, obviously Bailey Andrews did really well on the weekend as well. You got so many other fighters. Michael Allsop's doing great, but you three are really like flying the flag for it. And I think it turns some teams the wrong way, because it's like, oh, you're like kind of pushing everyone away. But I feel like that's where you guys have grown the most, is you're in this no-name gym that's kind of, no one's ever heard of Infinite outside. You guys have built it to what it is. It then goes, you still keep going in sort of a gym that has no location, and you've got this select few of people. You kind of either fit the vibe or you fuck off. And it's like, is that, who leads that? Is that John's style? Is that your style? Or do you just kind of gravitate towards each other?
I think like you said, we gravitate towards each other. I think there's still like, we've got to, like, we always laugh about it. Jason Walker, he's always joking about like, oh, maybe we should train with other teams and all this stuff. Like, he's a very friendly guy. He wants to train with everyone and stuff, but it's definitely stemmed from John. But it's just with the small team that we have, it's just like, we don't want anything to throw that off. Like, with the success we're having, it's like, we've shown that you don't need like a massive facility and like 50 different training partners. It's like, with the small team that we have, we're getting that one-on-one attention from John, and like just being able to. I think it's one of the reasons we're best at game planning, is having that small team and able to put that attention where it needs to be.
Now, Jace is really good as well. I think he's the only one still following me. I love that, man. I love the support you guys have for each other, and I really do like the whole you guys against the world. Talk about what that was like as a teammate to see your teammate go to absolute war. I mean, people say that all the time in fights. Say, oh, we went to war, we went to war. Harry and Kevin Kophamel fucking went to war.
Yeah.
What was it like first seeing your friend kind of go through that, and then obviously the aftermath, like physically? But of course, then you've got fucking idiots. I might have said, I thought Kevin won, but you've got idiots saying robbery and taking away from all that sort of shit. What is that actually like as a friend to sort of see that?
Yeah, it sucks, man. Like, obviously, in the moment, like in the fight, it was sick. So like, you love seeing fights like that, just from a fan perspective. But as a teammate and a friend, like, you never want to see your mates or teammates have fights like that. Like that shit takes years off your life, and I think any lesser of a man, it's like it might turn him away from the sport. But obviously, his mentality is just on another level in terms of his toughness and his drive to be better. Like, I think even with all that talk, like you said, people saying robbery and all this bullshit, like, obviously I understand it from some people's like perspective. It's like they want their boy to win, and if they thought he won, they're going to speak their mind. But saying that they thought he won and then calling it a robbery is two different things. I've said it in other interviews. It's like no one really, like, the fans won that fight. But I think we should just commend both of those guys. Obviously, people are entitled to their opinion. I have mine. Other people have theirs. It's not you're right, I'm right, you're wrong kind of thing. But yeah, I just think people should commend both those boys for the performances they put on. And another thing is not taking away from the fact that, like, all the weight was on Harry's shoulders. It's like, with not only obviously with UFC brass watching and like everyone talking about he's the next big thing, and but then having to take a fight with a completely different opponent on 6 hours notice, regardless of the fact that people think he was a featherweight, he was not undersized in that fight. Yeah, I just think with all the weight on his shoulders and the shit that he's gone through throughout the camp, obviously we all know, with the gym and everything, and then like tough weight cut and all this stress of taking a new opponent, it took a toll on him. So I think people are overlooking that and obviously praising Kevin, rightfully so, for what he did, but I think just kind of overshadowing what Harry did and what he had to go through to get there.
Yeah, there was this kind of movie quote that I sent him, actually, before he listened to everything. But it was like, it was this thing of like that movie Air, where Matt Damon's talking about Michael Jordan, and it's this motivational quote, and it's about saying, like, everyone loves to build you up so that they can then tear you down. And it's like that's what it felt like for Harry in sort of in real time, is that he was, and you would have witnessed it as well, like there's this aura about him, and there's this like energy that he had on that rise, and he's still rising, like it's still the rise type thing.
Yeah.
But kind of, what's it like to see your mate kind of get that attention and that love? And then a kind of second part of that question, how does it feel to, and this is the utmost compliment, be like the Scottie Pippen to his Jordan? Like, how does that sort of feel when kind of you do get almost like jealous at times, or like talk us through that relationship?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it jealousy per se. Like, obviously, it's funny when people ask me that question. It's like, I'm never going to be jealous of his success. It's like his success is my success. Like I said, I'm very big on loyalty, and it's like anyone in the gym has any success, it's success for all of us. So it's never any type of jealousy or enviousness towards anyone. Obviously, it's pretty surreal. Obviously, like seeing the success that he's having. Like, when you start as an amateur and even early pro, it's like the UFC and stuff like that just seems so, like, obviously that's your goal and you're working towards, but it seems so far out of reach. But it's like when you see guys that are on that doorstep that you're hanging with in the gym, it brings it a little bit more home, like it's actually a possibility and something you can genuinely work towards. And in terms of like being the Scottie Pippen, I love it, man. It's like it's just we're just on different paths. It's like if he was from another gym, no one would be saying anything, obviously. It's just he's on his rise, and I still think mine's underway right now. And then obviously with Martinez coming up, I think a win over him will put a statement on me and the fact that I belong at the top of the division. So I think we're just in different parts of our journey.
Yeah, I know. And he definitely, Harry's often rocking black eyes, and I know that they're from you. I know. How do you
Yeah, he
feel?
always likes to tell people that I'm bashing him in the gym. It's
But
like he's trying to boost me up.
yeah, but I'm sure you're like, oh, he gets me in twisters too. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you ask him, he taught me that move, apparently.
how does it feel to sort of take his opponent? Like, kind of, you thought you could run away from Infinite MMA, but we're coming.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like even when John called me and he was like, oh, I got a bit of a funny one for you. He's like, out of all the people, all the names, like who do you think that they've offered? And Martinez wasn't even in the question. Obviously, after pulling out with Harry, I was just like, oh well, he's out of the picture. And then when he said it, I was just like, look, if that's what they're offering, let's take it. Like, I think it was a pretty seamless transition to go from Don Marfan to Martinez. It's like they're very similar in their styles. Obviously, they both have their different strengths and stuff, but in terms of transition from one opponent to another, I don't think you could get any better. Like they're both very heavily reliant on their grappling. It's just, I think obviously Martinez's striking is a little bit messier, not to hate on it or anything. Like obviously it works for his style, but yeah, I think, yeah, like I said, it's a pretty seamless transition, I think.
When it comes to someone like Martinez, are you a guy that goes, man, I want to show you that I'm the better grappler, or do you kind of go, nah, I think my striking's better. I'm gonna hang.
No, I'm happy to prove that I'm better everywhere. Obviously I've got that grappling pedigree, but it's like if that's what he's relying on to win the fight, why would I give him what he wants? It's like I'm looking to put it where I want it. It's like if it stays on the feet, I believe I've got the advantage. If it goes to the grappling, it's like I don't think that he's anywhere above me in terms of the level of grappling. It's like he might be strong or whatever, but that's the unknown. It's like I don't know how strong the guy is. I've never fought him, never grappled him, so it's all an unknown at the moment. But I do believe that I have the skills to be able to beat this guy, and I think we're putting in the right game plan to do so.
And be honest, mate, out of 10, how much do you think he's gonna be at the fight and weigh in and be the weight?
10. Let's put it out there in the universe. Let's make sure to get there.
But like honestly, obviously we all love Martinez. I love Martinez. He's a great guy. He's done a lot in the sport type thing, but there are those issues that something might happen weighing day and he doesn't make it. Does that sit in your mind at all?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I'd be lying if I said it didn't. Especially with his track record. Like I think in his last 4, he's only made it to the fight and made weight once. And 2 of them he ended up in hospital. One of them, obviously, they weighed him at the hospital and ended up fighting. But yeah, with his track record, it's obviously not the biggest confidence boost in terms of getting across the line. But I think if he put his name down to sign to fight me, I think he's obviously within range of making weight. So let's just hope it gets across the line.
Is this the coming out party for Luke Daly?
I believe so. I still think that, like I said, with the Eternal guys, I still don't think people have seen the best of me. Obviously, I've had some good performances, but I still think people are yet to see the best of me.
I really do believe that as well. And I've always been, if anything, honest, spoken my mind. At times it's not always gotten me in the best light. But I really do think, believe it or not, and we've talked A side, B side, I actually believe you're the A side coming in. I actually do. It's a weird momentum shift. And I actually think, and I'll be one to do it, I actually think there's a bit of pressure on you.
Oh, look, like I don't try and take into account too much about like who like whether I'm the favorite or not. I'm never going to sleep on the guy. I'm never going to put him on a pedestal. It's like they've got 2 arms and 2 legs just like me. And it's 50-50. One's going to come out the victor and one's going to come out the loser. I don't like to ever underestimate them. Like I'm treating them like they're the top dog in Australia every time I go in there, whether they're seen as like a can, if you will, or if they're seen as like the best in Australia. So I'm always treating them as if they're the best in Australia. I'm not sleeping on anyone.
And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't stir the pot from inside. If you had to fight Harry to get into UFC, would you do it?
Nah, I don't think so. Like it's literally we are pretty much each other's only training partner. So I just don't think it would work. I mean, We do it every Friday. Like, I mean, if we had the conversation and it was like on short notice or something, they were like, look, do you guys want to fight? We'd probably have a chat and be like, fuck, man, do you want to get paid to fight each other? It could be possible, but obviously we'd avoid it at all costs.
Would you fight John to get in the UFC?
Oh, fuck no. The guy's a madman. Yeah, he's literally like the epitome of seeing red, but also he's a bad man.
Yeah, people aren't aware of like his actual abilities, are they?
No, definitely not. Man, like he's not only obviously with his abilities in fighting, like he's just a genuine psychopath. Like
He is that.
like it'd be like he's just like a gladiator from back in the day. It's like it's kill or be killed with him. It's like especially if it was like a street fight. So yeah, if there's one person that's coming out of that alive, it's him.
Ah, all right, mate. Well, whether you guys like it or not, I love you guys and I love your team. And I wish you guys all the best. Before I let you go, mate, after it's all said and done, how does Luke Daly want to be remembered in mixed martial arts?
I think I've said it in an interview before. I just want to see be remembered as someone that is a hard worker. I take pride in being a hard worker and someone that never gives up. But not only that, just being me. Like I don't want to like put on a facade and act like I'm this hard fucking gangster or whatever, or I don't want to be in a shell. Like I want to be myself. And I think people kind of get the wrong impression of me with the way, especially the way that I am after fights and stuff, like if talking shit and whatever. But like I've said it before, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And I'm massive on loyalty. So especially with everything that's gone on, it's like I'm gonna say what I mean with it, and I don't care who it upsets. So yeah, I guess just being remembered as a genuine person and someone that was a hard worker.
Well, mate, thank you for taking the time. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the other side.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
See you later, legend. Thank you.